So you got the skills of a marketer, and you know how to get your ads on your Instagram algorithms. But what exactly makes it exciting? And why do people want to click on it? Hi, I'm Jackie, and I'm a content creator and marketer. I'm here to teach you how to do quick tips to enhance your marketing and design with simplified terms to teach you how to create industry skills through these short videos. In today's video, we're going to talk about art theory and how it can be applied into content creation. The human eye is a wondrous part of the human body, and it's capable of seeing every detail. And so, also has the capability of getting bored very fast, and we've all been there. So it's okay if this isn't something that you've considered or something that you're not very interested in. Not everybody's an artist, but people do get bored very easily, especially if the ad is not the most exciting thing they've ever seen. You've also probably seen that on your own time too. Luckily for you, I've spent quite some time in a lot of art basements, and I have a degree or whatever, very expensive paper, and all of these very fancy terms for art. So here are some quick essential tips on art elements, and that can help you on your next advertisement and become the talk of the town. So let's start from the top and ask the main important question. What exactly is negative space?
Negative space is a term used in art to describe the space surrounding a subject, also called white space. It is typically empty and lacks detail to simplify an image. Negative space surrounds positive space in a work of art. You probably may have seen this in ads or your favorite films, and you probably never paid attention before until probably right now.
Which, by the end of this video, you'll notice this everywhere and pretty much in everything that you do.
In a two-dimensional setting, that is where the negative space and white space exist, aka the background. That is your blank piece of paper or your blank screen, whatever you want to call it. But if you were to turn it like a cube, for example, in the three-dimensional space, you can now consider this a new space, which is now an object existing in the foreground.
Now that we have that fresh in our minds, let's use examples to help explain the breaking of spaces that are used in ads, films, and art using stable and reversible figures.
Stable figures, as seen in the previous example, are just the main subject that has breaking points in the spaces that we understand as the backgrounds and foregrounds. What does that mean? Well, let's find out more. For this example, we have turned the background of negative and white spaces to different colors to show contrast of objects used in these spaces. In the first one, we have centering an object creates a neutralized space. In the second one here, making an object small and putting it off center activates the space around the subject. And finally, making an object big and overflooding the space makes it dynamic. In a lot of advertisements, designers will play with the type and give the same illusion of letters being in the front, back, foreground of the image you're viewing. Let's switch it up and use type to see the difference. Here, we can see how the object and background, the negative space, can be seen equally. Then, based on placement, we can view the figure of the experience in the foreground or the background. In the first one, we see a tiny figure can be seen as in front. In this example, we're using the type O. In the second one, we continue using O, but this time we'll make it a colossal figure crowding a small space and still consider it being in the front. And finally, a figure overcrowding in an area is seen as neutral or neither in front.
If you think that's pretty cool, there are other ways to manipulate space. Here are a few more terms and examples to look out for the next time that you're researching or brainstorming your next ad design, or if you just want to have more of a deep dive into the topic.
This time we're going to be using lines. Using lines can activate, trap, or counterform negative space using the white background. Let's start with creating a break. You see that it's just a letter and lines, but if you were to shift the lines a little diagonal, you now understand that the letter is the main subject and the lines have created two separate backgrounds, giving it dimension from wherever you view it. Then, putting the lines so close together can make a black solid. In this case, you can easily tell what's in front and the back. Last but not least, spreading the lines and spacing them accordingly can create tones. In this case, the square has now become a gray square and gives it a dynamic look to the main subject. Finally, we can move over to ambiguous figures. An ambiguous figure is an illusion in which the subject or the perspective of a picture or shape may suddenly switch in the mind of the observer, giving multiple and millions of different possibilities. You may have seen this image before though. If you need to pause the video for a better look, I suggest it if you haven't seen this already. Here's a hint. Is it a young lady or is it an old woman? Give it a try. Here, we see three different 3D cubes. Ambiguous figures allow objects to exist in the background and foreground simultaneously. No matter how you see these cubes, there are multiple variations and can be flipped or turned in different ways. An element like this can help typography in an ad look very unique or play on the human eye.
There you have it. You're now an expert in negative spaces and can move forward into using them for all of your marketing endeavors. Remember that you don't have to be a graphic designer or be professionally trained in this. Having an understanding that these rules and elements exist is more than enough. Remember, negative spaces exist everywhere and anywhere around you. And after this mini deep dive, you'll be able to see something that others couldn't. If you'd like to see more or you would like to connect with me, you can follow me on Instagram on jelements305, LinkedIn with my name, Jacqueline Sardinas, or you can visit me on my website for more other tips, tricks, or blurbs on marketing and design at jacquelinesardinas.com.